What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of my Final Fantasy VI playthrough. We're at Mount Koltz finally. The first thing you'll notice is I've got those damn sprint shoes on, and I'm trying to haul ass through Mount Koltz as fast as possible. There's actually, I believe, zero treasure gathering, in this entire section. There's a few reasons for that. Every time I come here, man, it always feels like I take 3 steps, I get a random encounter. I take 3 steps, get another random encounter. And so on and so forth until I make it to the finish line. This place, it just seems like it's got a very high rate of random encounters. I'm positive that it doesn't, but it just feels like that every time I come here. So it's kind of interesting. For a brief section of the game, I speed up the gameplay to ×2, and during that section I throw in a track from Final Fantasy VI Grand Finale, performed by the Milan Symphonic Orchestra and composed by Nobuo Uematsu. And I've listened to that album like 100 times, probably. So really enjoy it. It's incredibly well done. The name of the track is Blackjack, and that's the name of the first airship you get in Final Fantasy VI. So I'm sure it's a theme that you guys, or at least some of you guys, will be familiar with. During that section, I'm still going to commentate, but I'll try to keep it to a appropriate minimum, just so you can enjoy the track that's being played. So, the enemies that you run into here. If you don't have the tools for Edgar, all of his delicious tools, then this place is pretty nasty, because these things have got a pretty significant amount of HP, but it's really the attacks that they do that can really mess you up, man. These Serpius creatures here especially, if you don't Noise Blaster these things before their second or third turn, I'm not sure which one it is, they'll start doing some really nasty attacks on you. Beak and Break are 2 of them. As you can see, yeah, they kill each other with that Break, and it's pretty beneficial to me and my health that they're doing that. Thanks to that Noise Blaster, things like that are possible. If you neglected to pick up a Noise Blaster by this point, you're going to be taking a lot more hits, and you're gonna have a much more difficult time progressing through. As a result, you're gonna have to heal yourself a lot more, and it's just not favorable. These Tuskers, of course, they're still pretty dangerous. They have a much more significant health pool than everything else, if I'm not mistaken, and they can hit pretty hard as well, so turning them around is also good. That Break, yep, look at that. Break to the Tusker, instantly kills him. Just, Noise Blaster is just too good for this section, and it just, you can see why from the start. It just really makes it a joke. There's a few points where I do top myself off with tonics, and there are points where, especially at the boss fight, where I'm using Cure on Terra. I don't handle everything as well as I could have, but I did a pretty decent job. So here's that section that I'm talking about with this unbelievably beautiful track from Final Fantasy VI Grand Finale. Oh man, it's just so good. This entire album is outstanding. If by some chance you're a huge fan of Final Fantasy VI and its soundtrack especially, and you haven't heard Final Fantasy VI Grand Finale, I strongly urge you to check that out. It's an absolute gem, and yeah man, definitely look into that if you haven't. So yeah, this section, I speed up the gameplay to ×2, and even so, you're like, I just kind of sit back and look at this and think, man, there are just so many random encounters here, it's insane. And I just kind of go back to, man, if you don't have that Noise Blaster, you are really taking a lot of hits here, and it's just can actually be a nightmare if you're not a little bit prepared. Another thing that's kind of helped me out here is, you know, all of the stealing I've been doing for Locke up to this point. I have to have acquired at least 10 to 15 tonics by doing that, and I use quite a few of them, just topping myself off a few times throughout this section of the game. Oh, and I'd like to talk about some of the treasures that I skipped over in this section as well. The most significant one is the Atlas Armlet. In retrospect, I probably should have picked that up. It further strengthens Edgar at this point, which it's not really necessary, but it doesn't hurt. But it's not that big of a deal. I can get plenty of those whenever I actually might need them for certain relic combinations later on, but I skipped that over. There's a weapon upgrade for Locke or Terra. I can't really remember, probably Locke. Not a big deal either. I think there's a few consumables as well, rather, but yeah, I skipped that over. Like a moron here, I turned the opposite direction and got myself some more random encounters, yay! But, yeah, man, like, this section is pretty ridiculous. You'll notice that I do use Antidote with Terra a little bit here. I believe it's these Trilliums. They can poison you. So, you know, having those antidotes, I have a few consumable versions as well. I kind of go back to visiting those shops earlier on and picking up some of those status element breakers. You know, it really pays off for this section, especially if you don't have Antidote learned on Terra by some odd chance. So, yeah, here's one of those moments I'm just kind of topping myself off again, and yeah, there he is, there's the boss, Vargas. You might have noticed him, the shadowy figure that we've been pursuing throughout this level. He's a pretty interesting fight. I don't handle it perfectly, as usual. I haven't handled anything perfectly yet, but it's not a big deal because we got Edgar. And yeah, man, Vargas is a pretty unique encounter. What he does is essentially, once you get him to a certain health percentage, he pretty much wrecks you, and a certain someone steps in to save your ass. And once that happens, you have to continue to fight Vargas with that special someone. And so here we go. Yeah, here we go. Vargas is starting to body us a little bit here. And yeah, dude, we're on to you, Vargas. We're on to you. We've been shadowing you this whole time, bro. And this is what happens. These weird bear creatures. Since I've been, you know, using the noise blaster throughout this entire section, without any discrimination whatsoever, I thought, hey, you know, maybe I can noise blaster these bears. Nope. Sure can. So, as soon as I found out that I couldn't do that, I changed my tune. I started stealing with Locke, grabbed a potion there, not too bad, not too bad. And I start trying to burn these bears down with auto crossbow while trying to kind of supplement my characters in the background, keep them alive. Use Locke to sort of assist with the damage, poorly assist, I might add, and kind of keep Terra back as a support character using Cure to top off my team and to top off Terra individually. It's, you know, relatively straightforward. Once you get these bears down, you just start burning Vargas, and the bears are down, and we just start unloading into Vargas at this point. So, here in a few moments, guys, I'm going to cut out for a little bit. I'm going to let the rest of the boss fight play out and the ensuing cutscene. So, yeah, man, once that cutscene's over, I'll be back for the end of the video to say my goodbyes. See you guys in a bit. Alright, Sabin is officially a part of the team, and he saved our ass back there. And he's going to be a pretty significant part of the game from this point on. He is very much like Edgar, in my opinion, in that his blitz abilities are very, very powerful, especially early on in the game. Even later on, he gets some stuff that is quite formidable, so he's going to be a big player from this point on. So in the next episode, we're heading to the Returners' hideout, and we're going to meet the leader of the Returners. Some pretty cool stuff is going to start happening in the story, and we're actually going to start picking up some pretty good gear as well, finally, right? Like, I haven't really acquired anything at this point. I've just been powering through to get to the Returners' hideout, really. But here's where I say my goodbyes, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you on the next one.